Howdy, folks. I'm Evasive Eastern Redbud, easily earning 88 euros.
I'm Amber.
And here are more euros for us to earn. Or is that pronounced heroes or gyros? I'm not really sure. I'm not from the European world. I'm just kidding, folks. Let's get started.
That took a strange turn.
Alright, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Divorcing My Husband for Leaving My Dogs Outside When I Was on a Work Trip? I'm a 34-year-old female, and I'm married to my husband, a 36-year-old male, and have been for 3 years. I have 2 dogs that I have had since before I married him. My dogs are like my children, and he knows this, and I thought that was how he thought of them as well. My job requires me to go on a lot of trips throughout the month. These trips can vary from 3 days to 3 weeks. Before I started this job, I did talk to my husband and I explained that I would be away a lot and it would leave him to take care of the house. Before you go and say that it's not his job to take care of the dogs, I did say that he wouldn't have to do much, just feed them dinner as I would normally feed them, and then I would normally feed them breakfast, unless I'm away, and that's it, as I would walk them when I get home. He agreed, and it all seemed fine. Now, fast forward to a month ago. I had a work trip coming up, and it was quite a long one. I would be away for 2 weeks, and had prepared my husband for it, telling him what needs to be done. He told me not to worry about it, and that he would be fine, so I left it at that. Well, on the day that I had to leave for my trip, I said goodbye, and I got a taxi. When I arrived, and I settled in, and did the usual, however, I get a text from my mom saying that something happened to my dogs. I was really confused and asked her what she meant. She said that she went around to drop some things off and saw my dogs tied up on the front porch. I was shocked, and I had her send me a picture. I told her to untie my dogs and take them with her, and that I would cancel my trip and I would come home. Once I got home and I opened my front door, my husband was in the living room on the phone with someone and sounded alarmed. I tried to act normal and I walked up to him. He seemed surprised to see me and then very worried. I asked him what was wrong and he said that he lost my dogs. I knew what had really happened, but I played along. I said how, and he sheepishly told me that he had locked them outside for making too much noise and someone must have taken them. I was disappointed, to say the least. I asked him why he would do that, and he says that they were annoying him, and it shouldn't be his responsibility. I went upstairs, I packed a bag, and then I left to go stay at my mom's. He asked me where I was going as I tried to leave the door. I said that I was taking a break to think things over. Since I got to my mom's, he has been blowing up my phone and calling me overdramatic. Even my mother-in-law has been calling me dramatic and selfish. I haven't told him I have my dogs, but it's not about that. It's about the fact that I don't trust him anymore. I have decided to get a divorce after speaking to my mom and my best friend. My dogs are my priority. Let me know, am I the jerk? Alright, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I mean, as far as he and mother-in-law know, the dogs are completely missing. To say that OP is like being over dramatic because her beloved pets have just vanished, like that just shows that he's not the type of person that OP wants to be married with.
Well, okay, and I mean, I think that there are some layers here, and I think that OP certainly is has justification for wanting their dogs treated a certain way, right? A lot of dogs are perfectly fine and happy to be outside, and they enjoy being outside. Being tied up on the front porch might be a little bit different of a situation, right? Like if it's just a rope and it's not actually like a chain, and if it's not actually an area where they can actually get out of the sun, and if they don't have the proper protection and whatnot, then that becomes a little bit more of a dicey situation for the dogs and their well-being, right?
You know, like how much space do they have to move around? Are there adequate like bathroom spaces? Do they have food and water?
Yeah, and those are all questions that I really want to know answers to for this one. I think that OP, again, is entitled to have their dogs treated however they want, right? And if this is abnormal for them, where the dogs being outside is something that they're not used to, and they, might be a little distressed about that situation, and I can understand OP taking this more extreme type of stance on this. But I just wish I had those kinds of details for this one.
Well, I mean, I think regardless of that, the husband has really shown his true colors here in his response over the dogs, presumed being missing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because he doesn't know that she actually has the dogs.
Yeah.
It might have been different if he thought she was being over dramatic because her dogs were still there.
Yeah.
But the fact that he thinks that, oh, well, you lost your pets, but like, it doesn't matter, just come home and let's go back to normal, like, that does not sound like a supportive or caring partner right there.
Yeah. Well, he was on the phone, so it sounds like he might have been trying to find the dogs.
Right, but like if his search begins and ends with a phone call.
Well, it's not to say that that did, right? She had a long plane flight and everything like that, so who knows how long she was gone for. It sounds like probably at least a few hours, right? So, I mean, I'm not saying, you can leave a relationship for whatever reason you want, right? If OP feels like their partner can no longer be trusted and they're not going to be able to trust them, then that's completely on OP, right? Um, but I do think that there are some layers here. I think that there are some nuances that I don't know that we'll ever have the answers to, right? But again, like OP is, I agree with you. It seems odd that the husband is completely unconcerned. That, I mean, like they're like, oh well,
And
it's no
sticking
big
his mom
deal.
on OP.
Yeah, and sicking his mom on OP and stuff like that. Like this should have been a personal matter, and yeah, I think that that's a certainly shows that there might be some lack of trust at this point in time. So, but let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Froggy C says, when I went on a 2-week long vacation back to my home country to visit my family and friends, my husband stayed behind with his 2 dogs and my cat. He is allergic to my cat and isn't super bonded with her. I was nervous about leaving her behind as I've had her for 13 years. Every day he would take a picture of my cat and send it to me, would give me an update on her health, behavior, etc. Why? Not because he loves the cat, but because he loves me and understands how much my cat means to me. Your husband is a huge jerk. And Mindless Donut 8906 says, we have a small hobby farm with various farm animals. Someone recently mentioned that my husband must love the animals and the farm, and I said, oh no, he hates them. Every single one of them, but he loves me. So he cared for them and goes above and beyond in making sure they have good lives out of love for me. Which in all honesty is like the bare minimum partnership requirements, but I still appreciate it of him. And Rosamond Maxima 8 says, you clearly communicated with your husband about your job requirements and the care of your dogs while you were away. He agreed to take the responsibility, so it's not unreasonable for you to expect him to follow through with that agreement. And Martinez Murder says, time to lock the soon-to-be ex-husband out for good. No one abuses my animals or mistreats them in any way. This would absolutely be unforgivable and a total deal breaker. Rather than lying to OP and telling her that he would take care of the dogs, who are considered her family members, he could have told her that he needed some assistance with the dogs, like a dog sitter or walker or boarding. He knew how she felt and her stance prior to marrying her. The dogs have been part of her life for a lot longer. My husband pretty much adopted my dog when we became a couple, and loves her as such. Her husband is gross. I wouldn't trust him at all. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Husband to Take the Dog Back to the Shelter, Disappointing My Children? Hello everyone, I'm a 33-year-old female and I am terrified of dogs. I've always been terrified of them, and my husband, a 35-year-old male, knows this very well. When I was 7, my neighbor's dog attacked me out of the blue, and I had to be taken to the ER. Ever since then, whenever I'm in the presence of a dog, I expect it to bite me. His parents have a husky, and every time we try to visit them, I freeze and I'm constantly on edge. It's not like I don't like dogs, I do like them, but it's impossible for me to relax in the presence of a dog. I'm just constantly overly aware of my surroundings, ready to flee at any moment. My husband asked me to get a dog years ago, but I said no because having a dog in my own home would have been a nightmare for me. Well, fast forward some years, we have 3 children, an 8-year-old male, a 6-year-old female, and a 3-year-old male. They have been begging us for a dog. We already have 2 cats, but every time I have said no, explaining to them that I was scared. They would get upset, but still get over it pretty fast. Last week, my husband came home with a border collie, and the kids were so happy that I didn't want to scream at him in that very moment. But after we put them to bed, we had a very big fight. I really don't understand why he would disrespect me like this. He said that it could help me get over my phobia. That is a harmless dog, and the children were so happy, and I could just try it for them. So I said that I would give it a try. It's been 1 week, and I'm afraid to go to the bathroom at night. I wake up in my own home with anxiety. Plus, I work part-time, and my husband works full-time, so I'm the one who has to take it on walks and take care of him, plus my 3 kids. I am tired, exhausted, and afraid. I talked with my husband about it again, and he says that he really loves the dog now and told me to get therapy to get over my phobia. He said that it was going to break my children's heart, that the dog was very sweet, and it is, and that it didn't deserve to be taken back to the shelter, and that if I really wanted to do it, I had to be the one to tell my kids that I would be taking it back. Will I be the jerk if I take it back? Should I just get over it and try to get over my phobia? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. What is wrong with your husband? Like, pets are not a unilateral decision. You know, you need both people in a partnership to agree to them. He bullied you. He did this in front of your kids, so you couldn't say no, brought the dog in, and then has been emotionally manipulating you about, oh, but I love the dog so much, and the kids love the dog so much. This is a you problem. You just need to get over it.
Yeah.
You should not be afraid in your own home.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to do exposure therapy with a, you know, in a context where, you know, you have like a safe environment. You're always supposed to have a safe environment you can go to. That's part of the point of, you know, exposure therapy. The problem with this situation is OP cannot get out. There is no safe place. The dog is in her safe place now, so the safe place is no longer safe. And so, you know, it's not like going to, you know, a trained therapy session where they have, you know, a dog in a room and you can step into and out of the room as you please, but you can always leave at any point in time.
Yeah.
He's expecting you to take on the role of caring for the dog solo. And OP explains in the comments that, like, the big issue is, like, because her in-laws also have a dog, but they are always in the room with the dog and can remove the dog at any time. And so she's able to, she can't fully relax around that dog either, but there's a little bit less concern because she's never left alone with it. And he's leaving her in a situation where if the dog were to attack her or the kids, she's going to be, you know, the only adult there to handle it.
Yeah. I think that this is a horribly cruel thing that the husband has done to her. I think that he is trying to blame her for wanting to take it back to the shelter when the dog wouldn't have been taken back to the shelter in the first place if he had just listened to his wife and her needs, right? He decided that unilaterally that he was going to get this pet, and pets are really a 2 yes type of thing, right? And I think that in this particular situation, OP is really not in the wrong for wanting to have the dog taken back, and I don't think that OP should be the one who has to bear that responsibility.
No, because it wasn't her choice. He made a unilateral decision, and he needs to own up to his mistake.
Yeah, and so I know that he really wants a dog, but why, if this was a deal breaker, right? If you are going to a relationship and there is something about a person that is a deal breaker where, oh, I absolutely want to have children, or oh, I absolutely want to have animals, right? Then you need to decide that then that means that the relationship is over, right? Like, if there is something that you absolutely have to have in a relationship, it doesn't matter how much you love this person, how much you get along, how much all these other things. If it's a deal breaker, it's a deal breaker, right? Like, that's the end of the story.
Right.
Either you have to change or you have to pack up and, you know, leave the relationship, right?
Right, because trying to force someone to be, you know, conform to your ideas is not going to work out in the way you want it to most of the time. Like, he was expecting OP to just magically get over her phobia, as if that works. Like, this is only going to make it worse.
Yeah. So I think that this person is horribly cruel, and maybe it's worth telling him that it's either either the dog goes or he goes type of thing, right? Or he and the dog go.
Yeah.
And as cruel as that is, I mean, this is really what OP needs to do to be safe in their own home or feel safe in their own home.
Right. He's not being a good partner. He's not being a supportive partner. He is being emotionally manipulative in all of this. You know, being like, you're the one who's going to break our children's hearts.
Yeah.
Like,
how rude is that?
Like, OP did not ask for this dog. It's not like OP begged him for a dog and then decided, oh, I don't want it. No, she said firmly, I don't want a dog. And he's just pushed and pushed and pushed.
Yeah.
It's all on him. He's the one who's breaking the children's hearts by getting their hopes up.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And JMBBL says, have you ever taken steps to try getting over your phobia? And OP replies, well, no, I can manage my phobia in public spaces. It's for short periods of time. If a dog is being walked by their owner, I'm fine. If I'm somewhere in someone's home for a couple of hours and they have a dog, I'm not thrilled about it and I'm not at ease, but I'm not dying to get out of there either, because I know nearby that their owners are near and they can take care of him and calm him down if something happens. It's totally different when the dog is mine, in my own home, and I have to be the one responsible for it. I really don't feel like I'm capable, and I don't want to. If it gets angry or starts barking at something, I want to be able to get it out of there as fast as possible. I can't calm him down because I'm the one who needs to be calmed down. I don't know. I don't know if that's even a fair question to ask OP. They tried to get over their phobia? This for all intents and purposes, OP has said at the very beginning of the relationship, no dogs, right? And maybe if OP wants to take some time and have some exposure therapy and whatnot to work on their phobia, maybe their husband could have suggested that a long time ago, and they could have, worked on that together, especially if that was something that she had some desire to do, right? But again, this is all on him. He knew her stance on dogs.
Right. Well, and it sounds like her phobia is managed well enough for day-to-day living. It's not to the point where it's making it impossible for her to do the things she needs to do.
Yeah.
She just can't raise a dog.
Yeah.
And that's a totally reasonable boundary to set. To be like, I can be in the same space as dogs for short periods of time, but I cannot be the one responsible.
Yeah, so it's not like she's locked in her house forever, not afraid to leave at any point in time because there might be a dog outside at some point in time, right? This seems like a very reasonably managed phobia. And Mary Delamort says, so you're letting your phobia ruin your kid's childhood. They've been begging for a dog for a while, and it seems that you've taken no steps in addressing your phobia. Your husband surely is bad for what he did, but you aren't innocent in this either.
Okay, that is such a terrible attitude right here.
It's not a great take. It's really a terrible take.
It is. Like, it is totally reasonable to not want to be responsible for certain pets. Growing up, we had cats, and sometimes we'd ask our parents for a dog, and it was always, no, we don't have the space for a dog. They were not bad parents for not getting us a dog, and I just... Yeah, sure, kids may want things, but if the kids cannot actually take care of and manage the things they want, it's unreasonable to expect the parents to put aside all of their needs and fears and everything to, ensure their kids have a dog or whatever.
Yeah. And I guess they said alter their kids' childhood. I mean, I think I accidentally read that as ruin their kids' childhood. But kids do not need dogs while growing up. They can someday move out of the house and then they can get their own animals, right? And they already have 3 cats, so it's not like they're being deprived of pets at all. It really seems like this is one of those things where this is a want, it isn't a need, and it isn't going to make their children be completely malaligned with society when they grow up, right? They're not going to be degenerates just because they didn't get a dog when they were 4 years old.
Yeah, well, that's it exactly. It's it's one of those things where kids are disappointed all the time. It's part of an unfortunate part of life, but a part of life.
Yeah.
And not buying your kid a dog or, whatever they want is not going to absolutely ruin their lives and their childhoods. They may be grumpy. They may, hold some resentment when they get older, depending on the kid. A lot of us, we just forget about it. It's whatever.
An Ath account says, not the jerk, but your husband is. Is this normal for you? Him disregarding your feelings in favor of his own? And OP replies, to be honest, no, I did not expect this from him. We have been together for many years now, and we had our difficulties, but usually he's caring and considerate. I think he really underestimates my phobia. When we're over at his parents', I'm not at ease because of their dog, but I'm not having panic attacks or anything else. Having a dog inside my home is different though. Alright folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has something that would be in tangent to a joke.
What do you call a very young dog that travels around the world?
A dog joke! It was perfect. I inhaled, but I don't remember what the joke was anymore because I'm too busy over here drowning.
What do you call a very young dog that travels around the world?
A dog. I'm going to call a dog, a very young dog that travels around the world, Balto. Why not? Balto, that's what you call them.
A puppy. I was gonna skip that one because it's not even a joke, but then I was like, oh, it fits the episode so too well, so I have to go with it.
I was racking my brain over this one. I was like, what in the world? There has to be a punchline here that makes sense. Like a puppy escapade or explorer or something like Pupskesplorer or something weird like that. But no, Jovial Bobstein made a non-joke. And I have Earl Grey. I mean, licorice spice that tried to drown me. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy, spectacular Saturday. I hope your Saturday is going spectacularly. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it in the form of a puppy.
Puppies are 2 yeses, 1 no.
They are. And also, don't get rid of someone's pet that they've had before you even entered the relationship.
Yeah.
Or mistreat them. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Once I got home and opened my front door, my husband was living in the living room. He was not dead.